Hi, I'm Grace Baroni, and welcome to Conversations with the ERC5. Today, I am so excited to have with us the fabulous Kim Casineau from the Coating House. Kim, welcome to the podcast. It's such a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you so much, Grace. I'm so happy to be here.
It's always so good when we get together because I always get a little something that I can take away with me. Let's start by sharing with our audience your journey to being a woman and owning kind of like a company that's maybe more male-dominated, in a male-dominated industry. Tell us about that.
Sure. Thank you for asking. It is definitely a male-dominated industry, and it was by happenstance that I ended up in the space that I am in. The company, the Coating House, has been around for 45 years. I am the third owner, and I've been the owner for the last 8.5 years. I was looking for a business that I wanted to employ women and offer them an opportunity to mentor them and help them change circumstance in their lives. And I was looking for more traditional woman's business, like a medical coding or medical terminology transcription. And I happened to know the owner of the Coating House at the time. Mm-hmm. And he was telling me he was looking to sell his business. And he thought with my business model, this company would be a great resource for that because of the type of work we do. We're a coder of fasteners, threaded parts, and it lends itself to women with smaller hands, dexterity, things of that nature. So I had no idea. I knew he owned this company, but I never knew what it was. Mm-hmm. So he convinced me, and I went and observed for a few weeks, and I had no idea what this was. I'm like, this is, people pay you to do this? I had no idea. And he told me that it's a very lucrative industry. It's a $7 billion industry. The Coating House was one of 9 service centers that are authorized by Henkel. Mm-hmm. And we're the only one on the East Coast. So I was thinking, I said, okay, I don't need to tell people they need my service. I need to let them know we're here. Mm-hmm. I can do that. And that's how it began.
And here you are.
8.5 years later, here I am. Still, we've changed a little bit of it. So, but it's been a very interesting ride.
You know what I love about you? There's many things, but one, that you are just so intentional in what you do. Like you didn't just say, oh, I'm going to go open a business. Instead, it was, I'm going to go open a business so that I can support other women who are looking for a career path and things like that. And I love that you always look beyond just it's not about how will this benefit Kim, but how will this be good for Kim and good for others? Where does that come from? That's so beautiful.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you recognizing that, and you see that in me. I take that with a lot of grain, not with a grain of salt, but very wholeheartedly, because I didn't for the longest time. I'm like, everybody would do this, and people are, Kim, no, not everybody does that. I guess it's just my desire to, I've always had people in my life be a champion for me in very difficult times, mm-hmm. and I know everybody has a story and everybody needs a champion. So I thought that if I can provide, and I always had an acumen for business, even though I've not formally trained in that. Mm-hmm. It's just part of who I am. So you try to work with your strengths. And it took me a while to come to that realization because I started off my life early, raising a family young, raised 3 daughters. So this was like a second life. Half of my life changed, and I thought, okay. And because of my experience, I was very intentional about who I wanted to help, because I think women, I don't think I know women have a lot of things stacked against them. So letting women know there are other women out there wanting to help them with no strings attached. It's mm-hmm. purely for the desire to watch them succeed and make a way for their life, because women raise children. For the most part, we definitely need the dads and the men for sure, mm-hmm. but a lot of it falls to women, and there's so much that we deal with, to help navigate. Yeah, so that's kind of how that happened. I hope I answered your question.
You did. And there's so much more we need to share about you, because so you have this company, and you've got that focus there. But then you also go out into the community and you make sure that you involve yourself in things that align with this journey that you're on. So you served on the board of the YWCA.
Yes, YW.
And you are now on the board of I Found Light Against All Odds.
Yes.
Both amazing organizations that support women. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, both of those organizations that I've had the honor of serving on touched me personally in my life. I was that person. I used services at the YW when I was a teen, briefly. And I was also, I can identify with the young girls that we're trying to serve with I Found Light Against All Odds, which is a program that they do multifaceted things within the community for the students, but basically it's to help women who age out of foster care from the ages of 18 to 20. There's a high rate of homelessness or homeless insecurity. So we're trying to, we're in the throes of fundraising right now. I'll give them a shout out in a minute, to help buy a home and provide services. And this is not for young girls who are have addiction or young parents or things like that. There's many agencies that help those young women. This is solely for the women who age out of foster care who will find themselves homeless. And this would be a bridge to help them, and services for, schooling. At HCC, we have an MOU with them to help our students to get in there. And the founder, Stefan Davis and Lisa Lombardi, are wonderful, and they're just so committed. So when I heard about them, and you introduced me to them at a chamber event.
I think they're fabulous.
They are, and it's just spoke to my heart because I was that girl. So it was, why would I not want to, since I found myself in this position of owning this company. I always thought I needed a formal education to make my difference, and then I worked at a local college for 10 years, which was great, but I also noticed that a degree was an opportunity, not necessarily a way to measure effectiveness, or I'm trying to be tactful here. You know what I mean? So, go ahead. So I realized that, and that's kind of what the message I want to give to these other young ones. There's very many ways to be successful, and you get to define it. And there's people out there who are willing to help you if you're willing to help themselves, and they just need to know where to look. So these are the types of things that speak to my heart, and raising 3 daughters also. It's like we need to be hearing from more women in positions of power.
Absolutely, which is why I'm so excited that you're here and that we connected, because something that we shared is that neither one of us had that college degree.
Right.
And sometimes I know I did in my journey, there would be times where I would be like, no, I can't apply for that because it says they want an MBA, and I don't have that. And I was so blessed to have strong women in my life that said, you know what? Apply for it because you can do it. Go for it. And you need that. And that's, we had that conversation, and
Yes.
It was like, we bonded, and it was like, this is wonderful, because sometimes, we put expectations on girls, and
In so many facets.
we limit them, and we shouldn't do that. They should always feel they have the opportunity to explore everything. And I'm not knocking having a college education by all means.
No.
But it doesn't mean if that's not happening for you right now, there's another way for you to get where you're going. You can get there. There's different paths that will lead us there. And sometimes we have to be on that path that takes us a little off course just to learn who we are and for us to grow and become better people.
Very well said. I did go back to school. I had a life change at 50.
Yeah.
And I went back to school when I found I love learning. I hate testing. Still, never liked it when I was a child, and I still don't like it now. And I was in a sustainability program, which is very much about food insecurity. I don't understand this in our country, and social justice and things of that nature. So that was my focus when I was there. And I realized, because I was starting from a early, with hardly any college credits, and I'm 50, not that, I'm like, okay, I have to get an associate's, a bachelor's, a master's. I'm like, oh, what's another way I get a seat at the table? Business owner. So I said, instead of paying for an MBA, I'll earn it in real time. And that's kind of what I've been doing. Because everything I've learned, I brought some certain, just like I said, innate business acumen, but what we've been able to do at the Coating House and just the exposure of what I've been involved with, I feel like I'm, getting an MBA in real time and getting paid to do it.
There you go. See? So again, that journey, that path, and you take your life skills, everything that you learned goes along with you.
Yes.
And it's invaluable.
And you may not know it at the time when you're developing them in your young years. And why? Because my brother said that to me one time, because I always supported my family in certain ways. So I did what was good for the family. I worked a job to had to bring the kids, all that stuff. And my brother said, "Are you ever going to just stay at one place?" I go, "No," but everything I've learned to help develop the skills that I use now in this space. So,
has led you to where you are right now.
Exactly.
To a successful business and to be able to share with others. So if you had to share one piece of advice for a young woman entrepreneur out there, what would it be?
Do it. I had advice from somebody early on, like 8.5 years ago. And it was a gentleman who owns his business in town. And he said, nobody knows what they're doing when they start. He goes, you figure it out as you go. Yeah. And I thought he was just being kind, trying to be supportive. Because, of course, I did it. But I still had fear and doubt and all these things. They don't go away, but you work through them anyway. And one of the things I've learned is that faith and fear both require you to believe in something you can't see. I choose faith. That's not my quote, but I love that. I can't even attribute it to who it was, but it's so true. It's right. It's because it's like you have to trust the unknown. So if your intentions are, I believe for the higher good, support shows up. And that has been my journey. And that's what I would say to young people. You don't need to have it all figured out. Just take a step. The steps and what you think is going to happen when you first start, it's going to change. Because your vision is only a vision at first. Once you're into it a year or two, it's like, I thought I wanted that. Oh, no, I don't want that. Because now you're in it. So you got a whole different perspective. So trust the journey.
Okay. We need to continue this conversation, so you have to come back for another visit.
Oh, my gosh.
This has been such a fabulous time. So for young women out there that maybe need a mentor or want to speak to you, or if there's someone out there who needs the assistance of the Coating House, what is the best way for folks to get in touch with you?
They can reach us at our website, thecoatinghouse.com. There's contact information there. It gives us a whole history about what we do. We're a fastener supplier, and we're also an applicator of thread lockers and thread sealants. We work with business to business. We're not retail, and we do government contract work as well.
Okay. Kim, thank you so much. This was wonderful.
Thank you so much for having me, Grace.
Thank you. And to our audience at home, thank you for joining us for today's conversations with the ERC5. If you'd like to be the next guest here at Stonegate Studios in Wilbraham, please visit our website, ERC5.com, and you can sign up there.